This Rotax-owner expanded information video demonstrates a procedure covered in the mandatory service bulletins SB-912-065 and SB-914-046. Due to a deviation in the manufacturing process, some floats could absorb fuel and so have more weight than others. This leads to a loss of float buoyancy and improper regulation of the fuel in the float chamber. This may result in rough engine running, especially at low speeds, loss of performance, and/or fuel leakage in the area of the carburetor. The affected floats were delivered in serial-specific 912 and 914 type engines and carbs. See Section 1.1 of the applicable UL or certified service bulletin for your engine type for the engine and carb serial numbers affected. Also affected are all floats with part number 861184, produced since July 1st, 2012, which have been installed as spare parts or installed during an engine repair or general overhaul. It's possible that the carburetor and/or the floats may have been removed from their original delivery engine and installed in a different one. So it's important to check the serial number of the carburetor as well as the engine serial number. For relevant information, you should refer to the aircraft maintenance records and/or the engine logbook. The part number and serial numbers of the affected carburetors are listed in Section 1.1 of the UL and Certified Service Bulletins applicable to your engine type. This mandatory service bulletin must be complied with before the first installation in the aircraft and/or the initial startup, at the next BRP maintenance event, or within the next 25 hours of operation, but no later than 60 days from the date of the initial issue of this service bulletin. You must periodically perform this inspection after each subsequent 25 hours of operation, or each subsequent 60 days, whichever comes first. In the event of fuel odor, fuel leakage, or rough engine running, especially at low engine speeds, crankshaft speed below 4,000 RPM, you must carry out this inspection before the next flight. The cause, which may be independent of the floats, has to be fixed before the next flight. Note that the inspection must be continued at 25-hour or 60-day intervals even after a replacement of the float pair, until such time as a new and improved float or process is made available. Only after a new float is released can the periodic inspections be discontinued. New floats are currently under development, and information on this will be announced when they become available. In conjunction with this service bulletin, the additional service instruction SI-912-021, SI-914-023, Inspection of Carburetors, current issue, should be observed and complied with. The following parts and supplies will be required for this inspection. 1 test syringe, part number 581385. 1 oil line, 150 mm, part number 960043. 1 diffuser tube adapter for connecting your test tool to the carburetor, part number 224045. 2 choke gaskets, part number 950030, and a small quantity of Loctite 243 thread locker. For inspection of the float buoyancy, use only MO gas or AV gas fuel that is approved for your engine by Rotax. Refer to Service Instruction SI-912-016, SI-914-019, latest issue. Bring the float chamber to horizontal position. Level the aircraft if necessary. Start the engine and let it idle. After 1 or 2 minutes at idle, shut the engine off. Remove the choke lever return spring. Remove the 4 Phillips screws holding the choke valve housing on with the gasket. Remove the carb air vent overflow line. The installed hard steel, or on some models the soft rubber, fuel supply line must not be removed. Now you are ready to perform the test procedure. Fill the syringe with at least 50 milliliters of fuel. The syringe must be connected to the diffuser tube adapter using a transparent fuel hose so that any air bubbles can be seen and expelled. The fuel hose and adapter must remain free from air bubbles, so maintain a slight positive pressure on the syringe plunger to prevent the drawback of air into the hose. Insert the adapter in the lower bore of the rotary valve. Ensure a firm fit. Record the starting volume of the fuel in the syringe before the filling operation. Fill the float chamber until the fuel just starts to leak from the carb venting overflow nipple. The filling process should take about 5 seconds. Record the volume of fuel remaining in the syringe. Subtract the second syringe volume measurement from the starting syringe volume measurement to arrive at the float chamber filling volume. If the amount is between 23 milliliters and 40 milliliters, the floats are okay. The float level is within the limit. If the amount is less than 23 milliliters, there is a significant deviation of the float levels. A detailed inspection of the floats and a check of their weights will be necessary. If the amount is more than 40 milliliters, there is significant deviation of the float levels. Repeat the test procedure to rule out incorrect measurements. If the test result persists, detailed inspection of the carburetor and floats and check of the float's weight is required. The likely cause would be a misaligned float bracket or sticky needle valve. Install the venting line. Install the rotary valve with new gasket. Apply Loctite 243 to the first 2 threads of the 4x14 Phillips head screws and install. Install the return spring. Now, perform the same inspection procedure on the second carburetor. The results of both measurements must be documented in the maintenance records. The test is complete. If the inspection of float buoyancy shows a deviation, then a check of the float pair's weight is necessary. For this purpose, the float chamber has to be dismantled and the floats need to be removed. We'll demonstrate this procedure on a Rotax 914 series engine. We will need one float pair, part number 861184. Two float chamber gaskets, part number 830728. If the engine is a type 914, then two float chamber attachment screw O-rings, part number 631771. First, remove the two bolts that hold on the drip tray and set it aside. Perform a visual inspection of the carburetor and its mechanical actuation. On a 912 series, remove the spring clip. On the 914 series, you'll have to remove the lock wire. Then loosen the cap screw and remove it with its O-ring. But before removing the cap screw, place an absorbent shop cloth under the carburetor to catch any fuel spillage. Remove the float chamber, gasket, and the two floats. The weight inspection will indicate if the affected floats have absorbed fuel. This check is not relevant for new spare parts which have not yet been in contact with fuel. Let the floats air dry for 1 to 2 minutes. Only weigh dry floats. Check the weight of each pair of affected floats using a calibrated scale. The resolution of the scale must be at most 0.1 grams. The results of the measurement must be documented in the maintenance records. The maximum allowable weight of both floats together is 7.0 grams. The floats must be weighed in pairs, and floats are only available in pairs. Renew all floats which exceed the maximum weight. Remove the gasket from the float chamber, and for Rotax 914 series, also remove the O-ring on the bottom float attachment screw bolt. On Type 914, reassemble the float bowl using a new O-ring on the float attachment bolt. Install both new floats. And install the float gasket. On a Type 912, you would close the spring clip. On this 914, we will install with the attachment screw and its new O-ring. Tightening torque of 914 attachment screw is 5.5 Newton meters or 48.7 inch-pounds. After the bolt has been torqued to spec, install the lock wire. Finally, install the drip tray. After restoring the aircraft to its original operating configuration, conduct a test run. Refer to Chapter 12.20.00 of the 912-914 series Line Maintenance Manual, current edition. Finally, enter this mandatory service bulletin as complied with in the engine logbook. You'll find links below this video to download this service bulletin, as well as links to download all relevant service manuals. Contact your nearest service center, repair center, or authorized distributor for more information and parts availability. You can find a list of service centers and repair centers on our website using the top menu. Click on Support Bulletins, then Find Service. If you have any comments on this video, email us at videos@rotax-owner.com.